What's the most unfair thing you've ever seen? 1. My friend and I wrote the exact same thing on a test. He got it marked right and mine was marked wrong. 2. Zero tolerance rules. A kid can literally get suspended if they do absolutely nothing in a fight they didn't start. 3. Going to family court with my dad and losing even though my mother didn't even bother to show up. They also wouldn't let me testify. Fact is, she kicked me out at 16 but kept reviving child support. Court didn't want to hear it. 4. Coworker was written up by HR for being part of an email thread. Said thread was not inappropriate, but made light of some bad behavior within the company, even though the coworker in question had never responded to the email. 5. When I was younger, my brother and I both wanted to play different video games on our N64. My dad had us each make paper airplanes and whichever one flew the furthest was going to be the game we played. My airplane ended up flying further but then my brother stared to cry so my dad just took both the games and snapped them in half. 6. I'm a foster parent. All of our foster kids have had terrible stories. Some have had happy endings, new families, old families that got their act together. Some have not had happy endings. Trying to help these kids is the hardest thing I've ever done. 7. My parents are divorcing. Unbeknownst to my mom, my dad racked up over $400,000 in debt, plus he took out $100,000 in equity on the house. Now my mom must accept half of that debt, as well as give up half of her 401k. She worked hard for 30 years and will be left penniless. It is injustice to the highest degree. 8. All the best tasting food is bad for you. I would love to eat a platter of poutine and wash it down with a pint of Bailey's 3 times a day but then I'd die. 9. I couldn't convince my parents to take me on a day trip to a university 45 minutes away that my school was offering for gifted students, but they sure drove us 5 hours across the state for my brother's 3-day basketball carnival. 10. How a guy died because he couldn't raise enough money for insulin on GoFundMe but people were donating to make Kylie Jenner a billionaire. 11. In college I moved in with my girlfriend who is now my wife. My parents were so upset I was cut off from all insurance and lectured on how horrible a thing I had done. When my sister moved in with her boyfriend my dad went and painted their bedroom so it would look nice. 12. I was in my buddy's car when he got pulled over for speeding. When I saw the cop as we drove past him, instinctively tugged on my seatbelt to confirm it was on. When the cop wrote my buddy his ticket, he gave me one for not wearing my seatbelt. He apparently thought my tug on the belt was me putting it on. I explained everything and he didn't believe me. I went to court over it and the judge compromised by cutting me in half. I didn't do anything wrong and still had pay a fine.